Choosing a dog daycare, man, it can feel like a really high stakes mission, can it? You're trying to find a place where your best friend is going to be safe, happy, and just have a great time. So think of this as your official investigator's guide. We're going to give you all the intel and the checklist to need to find that perfect spot for your pup.
But hold on, before you even start Googling places, the very first step is to profile your main subject, your dog. Because let's be real, daycare isn't for every dog, and that's totally okay. This is all about finding what makes them happy, not just what's convenient for us.
So, which one of these sounds more like your pup? Is your dog a total social butterfly? The one who just lives for the dog park and can't get enough playtime? Well then, daycare could be their absolute paradise. Or are they more of an anxious observer? A dog who gets a little overwhelmed by chaos and really prefers quiet one-on-one time. For that dog, a busy daycare could be super stressful. Being honest with yourself right now is probably the kindest thing you can do.
Okay, so you've decided your dog is a great candidate. Awesome. Now your mission is to start building a short list of potential places. We're going to start by looking for all the good signs, the green flags that tell you a facility is a top contender. This number right here, this is your first and maybe most critical clue about safety. The industry standard is about 1 person for every 15 dogs. But if you find a place that has an even better ratio, like 1 to 10, that's a massive green flag. It just means more eyes on the dogs, ready to step in before any little squabbles can even start. These are the absolute non-negotiables. A double-gated entry isn't just a nice little feature. It literally prevents a dog from dashing out into a busy street. And separate play areas for big and little dogs? That's not just for looks. It stops a tiny chihuahua from getting totally trampled by a bunch of happy retrievers. If a place is missing any of these, that's a serious safety concern. The best daycares get that dogs are not meant to play full out for 8 hours straight. That's a recipe for an overstimulated, exhausted, and kind of cranky dog. A well-structured day that has downtime built right in, that is the sign of a pro facility. It shows they actually understand dog behavior, and they care about a balanced, positive experience, not just total chaos. All right, let's get to the next phase of your mission, the site visit. You've done your research online, now it's time to go in person. This is where you switch from researcher to detective. Your eyes, your ears, and even your nose are your best tools here. Any daycare that's worth your time will be proud of their facility and will welcome your questions with open arms. How transparent they are or aren't is a huge clue. This is the part of the investigation where you get to ask the tough questions. You're your dog's #1 advocate, after all. Think of this checklist as your script. When you ask about staff being certified in dog CPR, you're really asking, are you prepared for a real emergency? When you ask how they handle conflicts, you're getting a peek into their entire philosophy on dog behavior. And asking about webcams, that tells you exactly how much they believe in being totally transparent. Okay, we've covered all the good stuff. Now for the part that's just as important, knowing the red flags. These are the deal breakers. If you see any of these signs, your investigation of that facility is over. Just turn around and walk away. This quote from another dog owner really says it all, doesn't it? Sometimes you can't even put your finger on what's wrong. You just get a bad feeling in your gut. Trust that feeling. It's one of your most powerful investigative tools. This one's simple. It's an absolute. If a place refuses to let you see the entire space where your dog is going to be, that's an immediate disqualification. If they have nothing to hide, they won't hide anything. This is probably the biggest red flag of them all. End of story. Listen, a place with a bunch of dogs is going to smell like dogs. That's fine. But what we're talking about is a strong, overpowering smell of urine or feces. That's not okay. It's a dead giveaway that their cleaning protocols are not up to snuff, and that puts your dog at risk of getting sick. This points to a huge invisible health risk. A facility that doesn't require and check proof of vaccinations isn't just being relaxed about the rules. They are actively failing to protect the dogs in their care. It means your healthy, vaccinated pup could be exposed to all sorts of preventable and even serious illnesses. A good daycare is kind of like a private club. Not just anyone gets in. A formal temperament test makes sure that all the dogs in the group are actually a good fit for group play. A place that skips this step, they're putting profit over safety, and that puts every single dog in that room at risk. So you've done the research, you've done the tours, and you've narrowed it down to a top contender that's just covered in green flags. Excellent work. Now let's just cover the last couple of steps before you make it official.
Let me be really clear about this. Never, ever commit to a daycare that doesn't insist on a trial day or at least a multi-hour evaluation. This isn't just for them to check out your dog. It's also for your dog to check them out. It's the final, crucial safety check for everybody involved.
And of course, the budget is part of the investigation. Here's a quick look at what you can generally expect to pay. A full day is usually somewhere between 25 and 35 bucks. Most places offer half days and packages that can save you some money. Just make sure your final question is always about any hidden fees, for things like late pickups, so there are no surprises later. And yeah, as you can see here, where you live plays a huge role in the price. You can pretty much expect to pay a lot more in a big city, sometimes up to 50% more than you would in a suburb. It's just a key factor to keep in mind when you're planning your budget. Okay, this is it. This is the ultimate test. When you go to pick your dog up from their trial day, how do they act? A little tired is good. That means they had fun and played hard. But is it a happy, content kind of tired, or are they showing signs of stress, like panting a lot, a tucked tail, or being really clingy the next day? Your dog's behavior is the final report card for that facility. So there you have it, mission complete. You've gathered the intel, you've inspected the sites, you've evaluated all the evidence. You are now fully equipped to make a great choice. The final decision really just comes down to combining everything you've learned with your own gut feeling and, most importantly, with what your dog is telling you, because they're the only client that truly matters here.